G'day and welcome to part, I don't know what it is, 10 of the ZK. And look, I haven't done that much, and I always start by saying that I haven't done much, but it's slow going. So today I managed to put the steering box in and the booster and the brake master. We put the first bit of wiring in and we have a bit of a look at it. And the air conditioning and heater box goes in, and some insulation and bits and pieces. But I keep losing parts. And, looking for stuff, and you think, well, where'd I leave it? Oh, it should be over there, and then you find it somewhere different, and it just slows you down. So I've spent a day today and not done an awful lot, but it's just the way of it. Tomorrow I'm going up to the other place, and the XA will be there. The wagon turns up. So I don't know what we're in for with that, whether it's the sort of car that we cut up. I'm always a little bit, how do I say it? I'm always very reluctant to do that, unless the car's absolutely toast. But it's been outside, according to the last owner, for 15 years. But it was in Mildura, and that's quite dry up there, so we'll just see how we go. So that video will be around in the next few days, I would think. We'll just wait and see. So we're doing the ZK for this one, so I hope you enjoy. I'm a little bit disappointed. The plater I used lost my lock washers. These ones I couldn't string because there was too much of a gap. It's probably better on putting new ones on. For the camber bolts, and for this, and for the caster rods and all sorts of stuff. And I asked them, I said, look, I couldn't string these, can you do it? And because it was a couple of weeks ago, I've got bucklies getting them back. So funny, in all the years I used Warner's, I never lost a single thing. I was never looking for anything when I got the stuff back. Anyway, let's look at something a bit more positive. Been adorning the thing with the hardware, as we said earlier. Those bonnet things, I worked out where they go. I sort of forgot where they went, which is kind of crazy, but they're all in now. Bonnet catch you've seen. That one there is wrong. It's the right thread, but it's the wrong head type. So now we've got to think about the heater box, and I've just got it sort of sitting there near the firewall, but then we have to put this insulation in first. I'm going to reuse the old stuff because on this side it wasn't affected at all. So I've thrown up a little bit of tape just so that when I'm putting this adhesive down, it doesn't go through and hit that nice paint and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just going to pop a bit of adhesive on there. We don't have to keep, pardon me, bananas with it. There's also going to be some up on the roof of the thing there. How far does this go? It goes over there to about there. There's also a bit of I've got to put the that board on, and just down the bottom of the board there's a little bit of I might just cut that off. I don't think it's important to keep that. I wanted to cut that bit out a bit more. Oh crap, hang on. There we go. I think we're golden. The heater box will hold it in. It looks like it has some up above, but I don't know what to do with it. It's around here somewhere. Hang on, let me just see if I can hold it while... Oh, those bolts are going to be hard to get to here. Damn, hang on a sec. Jeez, I'm nowhere near. Let me just get a bolt in, or a nut. Well, heater and air conditioner's all in. The air conditioner won't be functional. I was originally going to make it functional. I sort of looked over my old videos and I was going to make it functional. I changed my mind when I figured out. The seller sort of told me a few porkies and I didn't appreciate that. So rather than trying to recommission it, I thought it was full of gas still. But what I've done, I've made a template there just by running paper over the air conditioning hole, and it'll have a box covering that, just a oval box that protrudes. I'll paint it the same colour and just screw it in, and she's golden. So that's the receiver dryer wire. I'll loop and just have it sitting at the thing there. And I've got to still, I haven't bought any vacuum line yet. I've got to replace the feed line. I think that's the feed line. No, that's not the feed line. I think this is the feed line. Heater tap. No, that's not the feed line. Well, there's a main feed line for it. I can't remember. Hopefully I haven't trapped it. That goes to the thing on the other side. Damn, what do I do with it? Oh, it'll be around. I'll find it. There it is, dickhead. Sorry, idiot. There. So, and I can still reach, before I put that pot on, I can still reach that hole. The heater fan will go onto the resistor. One side of it goes to resistor. I haven't got that yet. And wonderful chaps are looking for me at the moment. So, it's all good. It's wonderful. Awesome. The light's not too good. Hang on a second. Tea. But a couple of things of this. The master I'm getting rid of. There was actually nothing wrong with it. So I hope I'm doing the right thing. I bought a new one for it. The booster's getting a rattle can resto. So in other words, I'm not going to do anything except clean it up and dust over it with a rattle can and stick it back in the car. So there's a few parts that I'm replacing and some that I'm not. I mean, the engine's recode, the transmission's recode, the brakes will be all brand new, like everything's getting done in there. Whoops. Even that, and I'm sort of retrofitting stuff, like that's the brake pedal pad. To the letter of the law, that's still roadworthy because the tread isn't worn. And when I eventually qualified, it took me a while to do it because the guy I started with passed away, unfortunately. I was doing roadworthies for Blackburn Nissan and Blackburn Prestige, and we used to knock screens back because Vic Road's pet hate was, sandblasted screens and stuff like that. But that would still be road. I'm going to get the four-wheel disc brake one from the earlier car, and things like the chrome doorknobs and window winders. I'm sort of making it more ZJ than ZK, if you know what I mean. They just look like 3/8 nuts, so they can go and get cleaned up and dealt with. It's important when we do this that we don't mess around with the plunger. We don't want to dislodge the reaction disc in it. Here we go. Never do that. That's naughty, doing what I just did, because you can stuff your nerves up in your hand and all this sort of stuff. So we'll have a look. I mean, if it's absolutely rooted, well then we'll get a new one, but we'll get it reconditioned, but I don't really want to. I'm in quite a lot of money on this car already. 12 grand or something? Quite a lot. Or more. Probably even more. Hang on, what do I do with it? It's just got 3 nuts. No one's got 3 nuts. There we go. Oh yeah. Bit of a leak down the bottom. But I'm not going to fix it, I'm just going to replace it. And so we'll fix all that up. And try and keep crap out of there. So when the weather fines up a bit, it was nice and fine, and now it's just turned to dust, but it doesn't matter. I'll take that off. Actually, no, I won't. I'll just leave it. We're getting slacker and slacker, eh? So I'll clean all that up. Steering box can go in. I've just got to pop the coupling on, just a sec. Some of these earlier ones have a mark at the top. These ones have a master spline, which is there. So that will only fit one way, that coupling. There's a mark there, and that's the master spline, which is over this side, but it won't go in if you try it the wrong way. It has to, if I can see with it, hang on, I'll just turn it around. I've got that facing up there, and that'll go all the way down. But if you compare it to any other position, it won't. It has to be on that master, which is there. So we've got to stick that in without stuffing it up. These are actually quite soft from memory, these nuts. Actually, no, because I've still got to tighten that. Getting ahead of ourselves, eh? Well, we've got a bunch more hydro blasting to get. I'll get the battery tray done. This is actually incredible. In the past, I've powder coated these because they've been a mess, but this one, I feel comfortable hydro blasting. It'll be much smoother. I'll apply an etch and paint it body colour. Spring covers, stub axles, radius rods, and drag link are in there, I think. What else is in there? Nothing. Yeah, that's it. And so I'll take them in the morning. And the last lot of bolts and nuts and bits and pieces. You know, things like the brake caliper springs and brake caliper bolts. That was only on one side because I got the others done. I've got to go get some more supplies. I've just cleared a pitman arm. I'll see how the drag link comes back. I'd be more inclined to just paint that black. And I've given the brake booster a bit of a rattle splash as well. And that'll be fine. I'm convinced that that's actually not been done that long ago. It's certainly not the original one for the car. This is why I like hydro blasting. Look at the state of these arms. This is why I didn't want to buy new ones. The radius rods, I left those nuts on so I could adjust to them. If you know what I mean, I didn't bother taking those inner ones off. So you don't see those, I don't care if they're painted. Stub axles came up beautifully. I just don't want to move anything around too much and scratch up the kitchen bench. You can see where that's been pounded, so I'll get a little disc and finish those off. Battery tray is like new. I mean, absolutely perfect. The only thing we did when we took the bushes out, that one's all right. We buggered one of them up. That's just my fault. Yeah, there. So I think I've got another one. See, it's all mushroomed. I did that in the press. And of course, this stuff, what's left in that box, is the last lot of plating. I've already got another handbrake cable. But also, I asked John if he'd lost that, and it was me who'd lost it. That's for the power steering box. And, you know, some of the hose clamps. I thought, you know what, why not? And the tow rod, the towing adjusters and all sorts of stuff. So that'll be the last lot of plating in that box there. And these will all get painted. I'd love to clear them. I just don't think, I mean, obviously that's going to be body colour. These are going to be black. And I'll paint those black as well. But these rods are on the drag link. Ugh. Here's the drag link. It's just pristine. The thing with hydroblasting is it doesn't take any metal off, it just peens the metal. Sandblasting is a lot more aggressive, so it's better for powder coating, which really I should have powder coated these, but I'm not going to. I'd love to clear them. I love that champagne look. That's sort of probably the beginnings of it rusting, I guess. Anyway, I just thought you'd like to see that. How much of a shame is it to paint this stuff? If there was a way to clear it, I would. Yeah, it's a real shame. Black is just common as dirt, but this colour looks fantastic. Right, I've given this a blast under here with a bit of satin black. Steering box is in. Now I've adjusted it to how I think, sorry I'm a bit puffed, to how I think it is supposed to be. We used to do the rack adjustment by feel years ago at Ford. I think I've got it right. I might not, but it does feel good. So infinitely better than what it did. So I put the coupling on, and I've got to wait for this line. It's at the platers at the moment. That sort of gets trapped under one of these, and power steering lines go underneath the engine. So with that being done, I think we'll put the booster in. And that's sort of all tentatively sitting there. Oh, I've got to glue that. But I think I want to put the booster in first. Because once I've got all this in, I can put the column in. Or at least, I think I'd sooner put the wiring loom in after that. We'll see. I've got to buy some vacuum line too. I didn't get that. One of the first things I like to put in is the wiring loom. This is a little bit dirty. Where's the camera? I can't even see it properly there. I can rewrap that. I don't care. The 6-cylinder wiring, I think on this, I can't remember taking it off, but I think it went across and then right the way down here. The Cleveland stops in the centre, around about there, and comes out onto the engine. You've got your coil over this side, oil pressure switch over that side, and all that sort of business. So, no, the oil pressure switch, sorry, is in the middle at the back. The temperature center's on this side. Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. What I'm going to do, this wiring is a mess. I'm going to redo a lot of it because there's a relay box in these things above the handbrake. And yet this has got a lot of aftermarket relays in the engine bay, which I don't want. I'm going to get rid of those. So I'm going to rewire quite a lot of it. This is all the engine related stuff here. Oil pressure switch, and it's just mangy, it looks crap. So that'll all get sort of unpicked. But for now, I think I might, I don't know what that is. That could be to the transmission or something. I don't know. I'll figure it all out. I'm not even worried about it. It's quite basic wiring, if you know what I mean. It's not an EFI or anything. So I'm just going to wrap that first bit just there and then plug it into where it's meant to be. There's another hole behind there for the bonnet, which is difficult to get to, but I can't remember what I've done with the bonnet cable. I did see it not that long ago, but I don't know where it is now. And there's also one for the accelerator cable, but that hangs lower than the vent pod that's underneath the plenum chamber, so that's easy to get in later. We've got a bit of bird porn going to come up soon. I think there's a guy over there who's looking for a partner. Oh no, they've stopped. They realise they're being watched. Oh, here we go. Anyway. Oh, here comes a dog. Anyway, let's get back to something more interesting than birds on the job. I've started wrapping this, and I haven't unwrapped the old stuff because I don't think it's necessary. It'll give it a bit more protection, but not just that. When you unwrap all the old stuff and re-tape it, sometimes your links, because the wires might, wind up on the other side of the loom and you're stretching them around, this sort of stuff. And sometimes the lengths are a bit affected. It's only going to work to sort of here, and then we're going to have to take all the insulation off to make it all work. But it is what it is, Hang on. I don't think I'm doing a very good job. That's good. We're all good. Let's see what I did. Went around the wrong way. Here we go. Check this out. This is the reason I like going over wiring. Look at that. I prodded myself with that. Now that is, at face value it looks like an earth, so it would be fairly benign if it did contact anything. But sometimes Ford use funny colours because quite often they're browns, their power feeds, not red. So that's one to keep an eye on. I'll flag it with a bit of coloured masking tape just so I don't forget. They're your two main fusible links at the end of these. They're your two main power feeds to the car. And the rest of it's just stuff. And that's all pretty messed up. Although we've got starter. Where's the starter on a 6? Starter on the 6 and the V8 are in the same spot. Go on this side. So I guess I'll just keep unwrapping, and as I see things I'll stop. But all of this I'm really not happy with. I hate this sort of thing. Somebody's taken the fusible links off and bypass them, I think. But yeah, we'll get rid of that. And I might put a large inline fuse there. But it's got this headlight relay setup. They've actually cut into the headlight wiring, but I'm pretty sure there's a panel in here full of relays. And I'd have thought that was the there'd have been a headlight relay in there. I just can't remember. I'm just trying to figure out what Ford have done. We've got a start relay. That's not a bad thing to have. I would be inclined to redo it though. And what's this? Yeah, starter. Your two purples are your master cylinder switch. But what I'm curious about, on the earlier cars they used a resistor wire, and that's the first thing I pull away, because as you change your coils over time, the resistance is different and those wires can get quite hot. And I've seen them melt into the looms and I don't want that. So that's temperature sender. That looks like a, well, could be electric choke. Oh, that's the electric choke there. Coil. And that is not a resistor wire. So there's two ways of getting 7 volts here. One's with a ballast resistor, which is separate, and the other's using a resistor wire, which is what Ford used to do. And it's not in here, which is a good thing for me, because, as I said, I would have heaved it out. But in tandem with that, there was also a brown wire that came off the starter. And if I look down here, we've got a starter trigger and a brown wire. There it is there. Now, what that brown wire does is when you hit the start, it sends residual. So your battery is 12.5 volts. You hit the starter, because of the load of the starter mode, you're going to drop to 10.5 or whatever. Because, sorry, you're running a 12 volt coil, it means you're only getting 10.5, which is a weak spark, so it's going to start. So they have this brown wire which picks up 12 volts, or as close to 12 as possible while you're cranking, and then goes straight to the coil. So it gives it that extra voltage boost as you're cranking, ergo as you're starting. Now it's got that, but it's got no evidence of a resistor wire, which puzzles me, but I'll find it out as I unwrap the loom, because I want 12 volts at the coil, because I'm going to use an electronic eventually. So I'm just going to continue with this. I'm not over enamored with what I'm seeing so far, but you know, it doesn't matter. We'll figure it all out. It's only a carburetor car, so it shouldn't be too difficult, you wouldn't think. But it is what it is. And I'm just going to rewire the whole thing, including the neutral start switch, which could be different as well. Although the neutral start switch traditionally only has 4 wires. One of them is a feed from the ignition, so when you select reverse, it powers up the reverse lines. The other two are just joined, and they, you know, if it's not a neutral or park, it won't let the thing start. So when you put it in neutral or park, you get a circuit, and of course the starter motor starts going. So voila. So anyway, I'm going to keep going with this, and I'll be back in a moment. The lighting's actually pretty terrible because we've got this down here, this concrete. I had a bit of an argument. Well, it wasn't really an argument with my brother. He's got this. I forgot I was supposed to go and help him with the wiring on his Mustang. He's got this beautiful '68 Mustang. It's a small block car with about 450 horsepower. Well, the wiring loom he got was one of these aftermarkets with X number of circuits and this sort of stuff. And he was having trouble with it. And I said, well, why don't you just keep the original one? It's all plastic sheath. And he was right. He said, you know, I don't trust them because you don't know what's happened to them. And that's actually true, which is why people always seem to, when they restore cars, they quite often take the old wiring out and replace it. Where the hell is that damaged wire? I just saw it. Oh, there it is. So I've just seen another thing. I'm just going to flag that with that. Look at this. One of the feeds. Where the hell did I just see it? That's the problem with wiring, it twists and turns. I just saw it bared out and it looked like it'd been rubbing against something. Now it's going to make a lie out of me, right? It was one of these big yellow feeds. How the heck did I just see it? I just have to feel my way around it. Oh, it'll turn up. I don't know where it is. It's in there somewhere. So our booster and master, the master's brand new, the booster's had a rattle can overhaul. Rattle can, what do you call it? Rattle can restoration. or an aerosol overhaul. I don't know. I've only got 2 nuts and washers. I'll have to go and get the other one. I didn't see there's actually 3 other things here. So what I want to do is feed you in there. And I remember this on the XT. I think it was actually quite tight. I'm going to get the pedal box and move those things out the way like that, and I'll just pop a bit of rag under the front of this so I don't start scratching up my shiny engine bay. Like that. Here we go. Look at that. Splendid. Lovely. I've been on a mission finding parts. I don't know if I mentioned I've splashed under there, put little bits and pieces like that, and under here as well. I've just been on a mission to find parts. I'll show you what I'm missing, and I can't remember what they look like. I think they're just little U-clip things, and I've got to put foam on this too. There's a, what do I do with it? Yeah, that thing there. I think it just clamps around there to that bit there. I think that's all it does. And then the back of it gets sort of trapped in. And then once I've got that, I can put that in and place the foam on the top there and pop the dash in. But I didn't get to do that today, which I'm kind of bummed about. But everything's ready to go. This all connects on this side. I'm going to give the brake pedal just a bit of a rattle can. And the other thing I can't find is the handbrake bracket. I've got this new handbrake somebody gave me. I can't remember who it was now. And that all looks really good. I'll clean up that and I'll just rattle can it, I suppose. But I can't remember where the bracket is. It's got pins on it that sit in here somehow, yeah. There's 2 pins that locate it there, but there's I think there's an L-shaped bracket that sort of comes down and holds it up. Or maybe, yeah, it holds it up to there, doesn't it? Where did that go? Hang on a minute. Yeah, there is. There's an L-shaped bracket. Got to find it. Don't know where it is. The other thing I've been sort of concentrating on is getting bits and pieces ready. So there's a battery tray. I'm ready to prime it, paint that. That's going to be body colour. Radius rods, or caster rods if you like. They're beautiful. I've had to order another stuffed looking arm just to get that pin out, because the other one we damaged. There's the other radius rod there. And the drag link, I've just done them in satin black. The pitman arm, I like that bit, so I just clear coated it. And of course the upper control arms, there's a run. Call me Don Brabham. So that's all good. I've got the spring saddles, I've got the ball joints, I've got those bushes that go in there, upper control arm bushes, per the original type, and they can all go back on. I've got new lower arms, stub axles are all painted and looking rather good. I've just got to do a little bit of repair to this dash. That's for the XA, the sedan. So that's what I've been up to. And it's taken all day to do pretty much nothing. Got to paint these hinges as well. There's my phone. So then I can pop the hinges in. The wiring, there was a bit that I wanted to show you, and I've lost it. I don't know where it is. That'll probably be in the next video. But what I've been doing, or what I haven't been doing, and I've been putting it off, is the painting underneath it. I hate doing that. So once I've got that done, I've got the engine plates in the car ready to go. The bolts are all sort of plated and looking rather nice. The idler arm's ready to go on, drag link, everything can go on, the steering can go on. The only thing I haven't got, I'll get the upper and lower arms in, the stub axles on, but I haven't started doing the brakes yet. I've got to make up new lines. One goes down to the back, of course, and the 2 front ones. I've got these clips ready to go that sort of clip it to the firewall. I've got everything really well sorted. I just haven't done underneath yet. And I've got to get a sticker thing for here too. You know, emissions decal and Oh, and that's the other thing I've got to do. Cavity sealer, cavity wax, before I put the wiper mechanism back in there. So this bracket's annoying me. I don't know where it is. And these sorts of things always tend to slow you down. But it's getting there, you know. It's the fun time. I'm not having fun, if you know what I mean. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, once we can I'll get a four-wheel disc brake thing for that, like the old Fords used to have. I'm going to sort of retro this a bit with the chrome window winders and all this sort of other stuff, and make it how I like it. It's going to be ultra quiet, 302, and it's going to be lovely. And I've got pretty much everything here for it. It's just a matter of getting onto it. The other thing I bought was the deadener stuff for underneath this stuff. And I've got a gun for it, a special gun. You screw it in. If it's too thick, you can just kind of put a bit of terps in there and just that's the stuff I used under the XC and the XW. So with that being said, I'm sorry I haven't gone as far as I wanted to. I'm up at the other place tomorrow and we'll have a look at the wagon. But until then, take good care of yourselves, enjoy your classic, and I'll see you soon.